Donald Trump just finished up a disastrous interview at the Chicago Economic Club in an event sponsored by Bloomberg. His cognitive issues were on full display yet again. Here he loses track of his thoughts and then says he's engaging in the weave, and he's doing it on purpose. Play the clip.
You move too quick now. You got to be able to finish a thought because it's very important. You know, this is big stuff we're talking about. You can't go that quickly.
You've gone from the dollar to
So let me
Macron.
just tell you. So I said, no, I'm just telling you basic, it's called the weave. It's all these different things happening.
Yeah.
So let me just say, so I said to Mnuchin.
Then Donald Trump says that it would be a smart thing if he had secret communications with Vladimir Putin. Let's play it.
To mention
No, but
Putin,
these are big things. I have to mention them.
Yeah, you just mentioned Putin, though, and this has been this controversy of the past week. Can you say yes or no whether you have talked to Vladimir Putin since you stopped being president?
Well, I don't comment on that, but I will tell you that if I did, it's a smart thing. If I'm friendly with people, if I have a relationship with people, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. In terms of a country, he's got 2,000 nuclear weapons, and so do we. China has a lot less, but they'll catch us within 5 years.
That sounds very much like
I don't talk
you
about.
did talk
I don't
to.
talk about. No, I don't talk about that.
You
I don't-
talk
I
about
don't
talking
ever
to
say it.
Netanyahu. You talk
But I
about
can tell
talking
you
to
what,
all these people.
Russia has never.
When Donald Trump's being asked very simple questions like, do you think Google should be broken up? He's not even responsive to the question. He just starts talking about other topics. And again, he's like, I'm doing the weave. I'm doing the weave. Let's play it.
Should Google be broken up?
I just haven't gotten over something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is asked about committing to a peaceful transfer of power, since it's important for a democracy to exist, and also the business community relies on the stability of the government. Donald Trump would not commit to it. Play this clip.
Maybe I can ask you, Ben, about something else.
Yeah.
Business people here in this room, business people, capital markets, they all like the rule of law. They like certainty. The Chinese, who you mentioned, other dictators,
Right.
they don't like it when things go wrong. They like it when things go wrong in America. If you look at the events of January the 6th, 2021, it showed to many people America's democracy was unruly and violent. Only 3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful. Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is what they like to do. This is what they like to do. It's very interesting.
Question, President Trump, is would you respect the decision?
When I found out about this interview, I did a little check. He's a man that has not been a big Trump fan over the years. So I had a choice. Do I do this interview or not? I'm glad I did it. But do I do this interview, or do I disappoint a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people in the audience. But his view is very different than mine. Let me just say.
I'm asking you.
And he goes on to say that he thought it was a very peaceful transition of power in connection with the insurrection. Play this clip.
And some people went to the Capitol, and a lot of strange things happened there. A lot of strange things, with people being waved into the Capitol by police, with people screaming, go in, that never got into trouble. You know, I don't want to mention names, but you know who they are. A lot of strange things happened, but you had a peaceful, very peaceful. I left the morning that I was supposed to leave. I went to Florida, and you had a very peaceful transfer. This was not and I'll tell you what, those people that did go down, which was a tiny fraction of the people that went to Washington. I mean, you're talking about a very, very small, because hundreds of thousands of people, and I don't know what you had, 500, 600, 700 people go down to the Capitol.
But this is how he describes the insurrection. He's like, yeah, it was like a few hundred people. And then he further spreads conspiracies about the January 6th insurrection. Let's play it.
A very, very small, because there are hundreds of thousands of people, and I don't know what you had, 500, 600, 700 people go down to the Capitol. But those people, that was not one of those people had a gun. Nobody was killed except for Ashley Babbitt. She was killed. She was shot in the head by a policeman what he did was horrible.
Then he starts referring to Governor Gavin Newsom of California as new scum. The moderator says, that type of language, any person who ran a business would be fired if they called a competitor a scum. But you seem to do it all the time. Here, play the clip.
Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
He signed Newscum, I call him.
Yeah. But do you think?
No, he corrected me. I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
There are CEOs out here. If they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's fine for a president? But they don't have to survive like me.
They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
You made a.
Then Donald Trump continues to brag about passing cognitive exams. This is, again, part of the speeches that he gives. He says, I passed this cognitive exams. They're actually dementia exams, and it's very concerning that he keeps on bringing this up. Let's play it.
No, that would bother me. But, I took 2 cognitive tests, and I aced them both. I think that, frankly, people, regardless, should take, if they're 50 or 40 I think people should take cognitive tests, not because of the age, but because of something else. Now, here's the problem. They say it's unconstitutional, okay? But I would love to see cognitive tests. I don't think she could pass a cognitive test. I mean, I've watched. I don't think she could pass a cognitive test.
President Trump, you've gone over many issues on this. I asked you many questions about things. One thing.
Then Donald Trump looks at a woman in the audience who he says is a beautiful woman, and then says the migrants will look at you and want you dead and try to kill you. Play the clip.
These killers are among the most evil killers. They will look at you down, the beautiful woman there. They'll look at you and they will kill you. These are seriously sick people. And
Donald Trump then continues his insults at the city of Detroit. He says it's a horrible city. Here, play this clip.
So I've been talking about for the last year about Detroit and how horribly it has been. It's just horrible, because we've been talking about Detroit's coming back for 40 years and it's never come back.
And as you can see, this has just been an awful event for Trump. Now he's, in this clip, throwing a fit and attacking the Wall Street Journal and the moderator. Play the clip.
She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
But President Trump, the issue, the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about it.
You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about it.
No, you're trying to turn this into debate. There are business people.
But you're wrong. You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. You've been wrong.
Donald Trump then continues to insult Detroit. Let's play it.
President, think of it. Not one president charged China anything. They said, they are a third world nation. They're developing. Well, we're a developing nation too. Take a look at Detroit.
Donald Trump is then asked about this idea of tariffs, and he doesn't even understand what tariffs are, and that he would add about $7.5 trillion to the debt. Remember, Donald Trump previously added about $8 trillion to the debt, and 7.5 trillion estimates is on the lower end. Here, play it.
You heard the reception there. The business people of Chicago, like everywhere else, they like a lot of the things you want to do in terms of tax cuts and some of the spending proposals. But like many business people, what they're often worried about is the cost. And the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which is a bipartisan outfit, put out some predictions the other day. If you add up all the promises you've made, and your plans would add $7.5 trillion to the debt. That's more than twice the total for Vice President Harris. you're on course to push up debt up to 150% of GDP. You know, this is a very business-like audience. Why should they trust you with that?
Because you're about growth. She's got no growth whatsoever. And we're all about growth. We're going to bring companies back to our country. You look at, even today, as I was driving over, I see these empty, old, beautiful, like steel mills and factories that are empty and falling down. Some have been converted to senior citizens' homes, but that's not going to do the trick. And we're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA. We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs, because I'm a believer in tariffs. I'm not sure that you are. I don't think you are, but I congratulate you on your career. But to me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it. But to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Tariffs, do you think that will bring in the revenues? To use another bipartisan group,
yeah,
Pearson Institute, they say they only bring in $200 billion. That is that's barely the cost of two of your promises.
Yeah, but that's like, for what company are you talking about, okay? Look, I brought in with tariffs, and I was just getting started. Then COVID came, and we had because I tell you what, I did a very good job in COVID. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I call it the China virus because I like.
Donald Trump is then asked about reserve currency. Play the clip.
What about, can I ask you a particular thing about the dollar? You talked about wars. At the New York Economic Club, you said that if you lost the dollar as a reserve currency, it would be like America losing a war.
Yeah.
You look at what you're going to do in terms of protectionism, drive countries to use the other currencies, and all that debt is also going to lessen the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency.
If
Don't you worry about that?
The dollar is so secure, your reserve currency is the strongest it'll ever be.
Then Donald Trump attacks the moderator again and says, well, you've been wrong about tariffs for 25 years. Play it.
On things you don't really like. You're also talking about 20% tariffs on the rest of the world. That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy. And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive in terms of the economy.
I agree. It's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well,
let me just tell you. Let me tell you. I know how committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to, spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further. If you don't do this, this country has no chance.
40 million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming back.
Those are 40 million jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on trade.
Are you ready?
Donald Trump once again struggling to even say a sentence. He starts talking about ISIS, then he talks about World War III, and he goes, I'm weaving. Here, play it.
Saved it. We saved our steel. Now, what was left, because we've lost so much, but there are certain companies you have to have. There are certain things you have to have. Steel, you have to have. If you go to war, there's a possibility you go to war. I kept us out of war. I was the only president in 82 years that kept you out of a war, except I defeated ISIS, but I inherited that war. There were no wars. And by the way, and I think it's very important, you can go, I call it the weave. You can call it, you have the weave as long as you end up in the right location at the end. But while we're talking about it, we have never been so close to World War III as we are right now. With what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and the Middle East.
Well, let's.
I had no wars in the whole world. Think of it. And I talked them out of wars. I talked plenty of countries out of wars. I had the whole world, other than ISIS, which I inherited, and I knocked out ISIS in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take 4 to 5 years. I did it in a matter of weeks. We actually have a great military. We don't know how to use it, but we have a great
President Trump, with great respect, I was asking about tariffs. You've gone off about that. Seeing you brought up tariffs and foreign policy, many people.
Donald Trump then says that putting in older individuals into the Supreme Court is the stupidest thing you can do. Having old people in leadership positions is stupid. The 78-year-old Donald Trump, who's exhibiting signs of dementia and Alzheimer's, in my opinion, or whatever it is, or serious cognitive issues and potentially soiling himself in public. That's the message that he has right now. Let's play it.
Because, you put them in the young. You tend to put them in young. Only stupid people put old. You don't put old in. because they're there for 2 years or 3 years.
You're
so you put them in young. So I got 3. A lot of judges.
Then the moderator talks about simple mathematics. Play this clip.
Come back to the Europeans in a second. What about consumers? People out there.
They're going to be the biggest beneficiaries.
Yeah, critics say your tariffs will end up being like a national sales tax.
Nope. The countries will pay.
If you have America at the moment has $3 trillion worth of imports, you're going to add tariffs to every single one of them. That is going to push up the cost for all those people who want to buy foreign goods.
Now, what's going to happen?
Simple mathematics, President Trump.
It's not. It is, but not the way you figured. I was always very good at mathematics.
Trump then tells one of those lies stories that he tells where he goes, a guy came up to me and said, your tariffs saved my life. And your tariffs allowed me to have my kitchen cabinet store. Play this clip.
I put a 25% tariff still on kitchen cabinets. I saw the guy 3 days ago. He said, I'm the man that saw you about kitchen cabinets. You saved my company when you did the tariff, and you saved thousands of jobs. And my company is now doing very well. And he started to cry. And this guy hasn't cried too much, I will tell you. He said, you saved my company. There's nobody that could have done that.
Maybe I can ask.
And this follows yesterday's event that Donald Trump gave in Oaks, Pennsylvania, where he just stopped doing the event after 30 minutes and said he wants to listen to music. And then he started listening to like bizarre music and just bobbing his head. Here, play this clip.
Let's not do any more questions. Let's just listen to music. Let's make it into a music. Who the hell wants to hear questions, right? Isn't that beautiful, though? It's so beautiful. We played that in Butler, Pennsylvania. We had a moment of silence, and then we had the bells of Notre Dame go off, and then we had a great opera singer, Christopher, who was so incredible, and a great, great opera singer.
All right, so tell me what you think, folks. We're going to keep covering this, but obviously, perhaps the October surprise here is Donald Trump October surprising himself. By displaying these severe cognitive issues and how mentally and physically unfit he is. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.